Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel and welcome to my chess tactics and chess puzzles series. So in this series we're covering all of the possible tactical motifs that can happen to you in the chess games, and we're continuing today with checkmate patterns again. Today we continue the series with the so-called Mayet checkmate pattern. The Mayet checkmate pattern is this setup that I've already prepared for you. So basically you're delivering checkmate with your rook supported by the bishop, and your opponent doesn't have any squares to escape. So this is now a typical example of this very nice checkmate pattern. But of course this is a simplified pattern that I've prepared here. Now let's see a couple of examples from chess history in this very nice tactical possibility. So here is a game played by Max Rafael Kalleg with the white pieces, and you can pause the video and try to create this checkmate pattern, this Mayet checkmate pattern, with a very nice sacrifice. I think you can solve this chess puzzle very easily, again with the preparation to somehow activate our queen. So in the last move, black tried queen to f5, trying to challenge white's queen, but now basically the game is over because we have now a very nice queen sacrifice, queen to e8. Your opponent has to take the queen because he doesn't have any squares. Now after queen takes e7, e8, we have bishop to b5, the double check, very important tactical motif in chess. Double check because you cannot escape, of course, from double checks. Now there are only two squares. Wherever you go, it's game over. If you go to d8 or to f8, the same scenario happens. We have here king to f8, but now rook to e8. Very nice checkmate here. So you see how dangerous it is when you stay with the king in the center. Even this queen sacrifice is possible. So if you have troubles to play openings, king security is one of the most important things in chess. Here you see this nice queen sacrifice was possible because of this endangered king. So let's see now another example. Here I wanted to show you more moves, like how this position happened. So it was a gameplay by Nicolas Schub here with in the last move. Here black tried rook to b8. Now white simply continued to pin this knight, bishop to g5. Here d5 was played, challenging white's center. Now after e5, here black tried queen to e7. Of course you cannot protect anymore the pawn. You can try something like queen to e2, but it's a little bit too slow. Here white plays a very aggressive move, plays castling, forcing now the queen to go to and take this pawn on e5. Here queen to e5 was played. Now rook to e1. You have this move, bishop knight to e4, but now after bishop takes e4, here black tried queen to g5, taking the bishop, and now there is again this problem of this king in the center. Here we have bishop takes d5, bishop to e7, and now bishop to c6, attacking the king. You have again only one square, or if you cover with the bishop, we can of course take with the queen. Here king to f8 was played, and now a very nice queen sacrifice again. Queen on d8. Here after bishop takes d8, we have again the possibility rook to e8, and it's again a very powerful checkmate here. So you see, queen sacrifices are very common in this pattern because you see the king is again endangered. Don't do that when you play chess. Try to first secure a king and then maybe to create some pawn breakthroughs. Because when I learned chess, my father always told me that you shouldn't push pawns when you haven't secured the king, like black did here. So maybe a better idea is to somehow maybe play bishop to e7, castling, and then to try this d5 pawn breakthrough to get maybe some clarifications here in the center. See how dangerous it is when you push pawns with the king in the center. So let's see now another game. I wanted to show you now show you the whole game played by Aron Nimzovich. It was, I think, one of the most popular Mayet mates that was played in chess history. So that's it, the game. Here e4 played by Aron Nimzovich. We have e6, d4, the French defense, d5, knight to c3, the common line. Here knight to f6, we have the classical variation, and now Nimzovich goes into exchange variation. E takes d5, knight to d5, now knight to f3, simply developing moves, and now c5. We have now a similar game like the Tarash defense. Black is trying to immediately have this clear fight situation in the center. After knight takes d5, we have queen to d5. If you take with the e pawn, then you risk maybe some isolated pawn situations, because white can only always take d takes c5, and now after bishop c5, okay, you have a very now powerful activity with your bishop, but this isolated pawn could be a long-term weakness in black's position. So in the game, queen to d5 was played. Now bishop to e3. We have c takes d4, knight takes d4, and now we have a6, a very important move to prevent some knight to b5 ideas, and maybe some knight to c7 attacking possibilities of white. Here bishop to e2 was played, a very tricky move by Aaron Nimzovich. Here queen to g2, now bishop to f3, attacking the queen. Now the queen is a little bit endangered. This was sort of a poison pawn variation. Queen to g6 was played. Here maybe queen to h3 is better, staying with our queen, maybe queen on e2 and preparing queenside castle. Here after potential g6 we can simply go queenside castling. Now bishop to g7. I think at least in this particular variation, black can go and secure the king, at least now with the one pawn up. Of course white has still the bad activity, has also this powerful bishop, so it will be hard here to develop maybe with some b5 moves. So you need many moves, many tempos to make something happen here on the queen side. But as said, in the game here queen to g6 was played, and now the king is really out of game. Here queen to d2 played by Nimzovich, we have e5, and here Aaron Nimzovich plays a very, very attractive move, queenside castling, leaving the knight hanging, which is a great thing, I think, because after e takes d4, we have bishop d4, and now if we evaluate the position again, you see Aaron Nimzovich has the battery on the d file, has an active bishop. Basically what we want to do is activate our other rook, and this is simply winning here for white. You cannot participate in the defense with these two minor pieces. It's game over, because here Aaron Nimzovich played some great tactics. Knight to c6, black is trying desperately to bring out some defenders into the game, but now bishop to f6, great move here, deflecting the queen basically from the defense here. But the more important thing is that we want to liberate here this d file for the queen, because we have created this very powerful battery, and our main tactical idea is to go bishop takes c6 and then rook to e1, and then attacking here this king. Also of course with the preparation to play so also some dangerous checkmate attacks here on d8. So that's why queen to f6 was played anyway, and now rook to e1, we have bishop to e7. Here the problem is after bishop takes c6, you cannot go queen takes c6, because then you get queen to d8 anyway. So that's why black tried to escape, but now again we have this Mayet checkmate pattern. So queen to d8, checkmate, here bishop takes, and now rook to e8, very nice checkmate by the legendary Aaron Nimzovich. So great attacking possibilities you see whenever you see that your opponent has the king in the center when he hasn't secured the king, and whenever you have this nice activity with your minor pieces, especially with the bishops. Consider the option to maybe do some sacrifices, because you see now in these examples that it was really possible, because this king is has to be secured first, and then you should play on some other possibilities. So okay, I hope you enjoyed this checkmate pattern. Meanwhile, you can watch my other patterns from the series, and you can also watch my common chess tactics that can happen to you, like the X-ray attack, double attack, discovered attacks, and many more. And you can also watch my series How to Spot Chess Tactics, in which I show you how to recognize tactical possibilities, because recognizing tactics is one of the most the hardest things that you can apply in your own chess games. It's really hard sometimes to recognize common tactical possibilities. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you like this content. Thanks you for watching, guys, and chess is the best, of course.